Okay, so I had a video I was working on yesterday. I spent about 2 hours and decided to scrap it. It was so frustrating. I realized I hadn't really accomplished what I wanted to do in that video, and that was respond to somebody who's a Christian and their friend. When I told them I was vegan, they said, well, Jesus said, think not what you shall eat, and that's a quote from the King James Version Bible. I'm going to get to the Bible verse and debunk it because it is out of context. The problem that bothered me about that was I was criticized. Who cares if I'm criticized? But I'm being criticized for doing something that's like really unselfish and really compassionate. You know, I want to stop eating animals. I don't like imprisoning animals for their entire life. They don't even know what freedom is. You're just treated like dirt, really. If you're aware of what is happening and you keep eating, then you're being selfish, because clearly it's very bad what's going on in slaughterhouses. Okay, we'll get that later, Ben. We can't carry it home. I have to get the car. Yeah, so really that's what hurt. It's just that I was being criticized, and yet I was doing something that is very unselfish and very loving and compassionate to care about the welfare of animals. And that's like, you know, not a small number. Millions are killed per hour, billions per year. The slaughterhouses are atrocious. If you've watched some of those movies like Cowspiracy and Earthlings, easy to find, I'm sure, on Google, right on YouTube maybe, or Netflix. Jesus also said he had the Beatitudes. He said the attitudes that you really should exemplify as a Christian. One of them is, blessed are the persecuted for righteousness' sake. So in other words, that's part of the package. You know, when you're a Christian, you're doing things you're going to be criticized for, yet they're unselfish. Jesus didn't say being Christian was easy. So I see veganism as completely something I am taking on to be a blessing, because I believe that what blesses one has to bless all, and that's how you kind of decide on what a good thing to do is. If it blesses just you, or does it bless to someone else and not you? I mean, these are situations that are not good. But if it's a blessing all around, and for me, I see nothing but blessings all around by not eating animals. I see it's a blessing for the environment, because agriculture at this point in history is doing horrendous things to our environment. It's a blessing to the animals. They deserve to live. They deserve to grow in their social structures, to have family, and to just be. And they think and feel like we do. Not on the level we do, but nevertheless they are conscious. It blesses me. Not that I believe too heavily in cholesterol and all these things. I don't give too much thought to them because I don't need to. I'm not eating animals. And it just so happens that eating animals is the a leading cause and contributor to heart disease and cancers and whatnot. But that's really not my primary concern, because that just gets automatically taken care of when you're a loving part of the planet, when you're caring about animals. And anyone who says, oh, why are you caring just about animals? I'm not caring just about animals. And my major career is actually caring for the sick and the elderly, and occasionally people who are dying sometimes, with the intent that they can be healed, keeping their spirits up. That's what I'm all about. That was what I left cooking for. It bothers me that animals are being stepped on by us and abused, and animals are sickened. We make them sick. Do you know what it's like for a cow? Attached to all that machinery, to be constantly made pregnant forcefully, with someone sticking their arm up your ass and sticking metal rod up in there, forcing with steroids and whatnot to make you produce way more milk than is normal, not to mention to have the stress of your baby torn away from you immediately after birth, to be treated like a piece of shit, basically. So I care about that, just like I care about a pet. A pet is an animal too. So why do we treat animals so much differently than farm animals? Like, what's the difference? There is no difference. You cannot rationally tell me there's any difference at all. An animal is an animal. Is an animal a lion or a squirrel in a tree or a chicken or a bird or an eagle or a pig? All these things, they are animals. They are sentient. They feel. They think. Look it up. Chickens are not stupid, for example. They're the most eaten land animal. They are very intelligent, actually. The whole idea that they're stupid is not true. If you're going to take a poor chicken who's never known anything other than being crammed in a tiny little cage and in the dark and made sick because he's got stuff in him that'll make him grow too big to even walk, and oh yeah, if you're going to look at those poor samples of chickens and say, oh yeah, they're stupid, well, some of them may have become idiotic and insane because they're in such a horrible situation. No, when chickens are in a normal situation, normal like us, we're in a normal situation, they are intelligent. Make the connection. Go vegan, make the connection. Because that's one of the big problems here, is a big disconnection between sterile piece of meat in a shiny white plastic tray. It looks all fancy. There's a huge disconnect between that and what really this is all about. What's behind the curtains. Make the connection with what's behind the curtains. Wake up. Okay. Peace and love. Cheers.